Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast. I'm Paul,
And I'm Dave.
and this week we're discussing the episode of Angel Soulless. This episode originally aired February 5th, 2003, attracting an audience of approximately 3.46 million viewers. Now, let us start off with the number one film in America this week, Dave. Any guesses?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the one from last week.
So,
Uh,
last week was a movie called The Recruit, which neither of us had ever heard of.
yes, with that, it was kind of there, but the case of it didn't hold too much traction. I hope in the case of it. But again, around that year in February, usually fairly quiet. Hmm.
I will give you a hint, just on genre, it's a rom com.
Yeah, then I probably wouldn't know it. First thing that popped into my head was the. I can't even say the particular title of it. Uh, yeah, no, I got nothing.
Okay, so number one film in America this week with a gross of 23.7, well, just over $23.7 million is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Uh, that one, which I don't think is the one I'm thinking of.
It's Matthew McConaughey, and Kate Hudson.
Still, maybe? Yeah, I still can't place a face, but yeah.
All right.
Again, rom-coms, something there, but most like case of I was probably too young for it, and just case of it's not my jam. I
Well,
want to see a thing explode.
yeah, we would have been 12 when this movie came out, Dave. Yeah, I don't think it was either of our jam at the time. Anyway,
Mhm.
moving on to the number one song in America this week. Any guesses?
Uh, Probably as it sits would be the safest bet of going with one from last week.
It
Uh, that name is escaping me though.
So last week the song was Bump 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 by B2K featuring P. Diddy, and it was only on top for 1 week.
Okay.
The number one song this week is a song called All I Have by Jennifer Lopez featuring LL Cool J.
Okay. Again, case that two things. One, most likely know the song, can't recall it in my memory. But second, is this supposed. I think it just might be a case of same artist but different song. Like, just in the back of my head, it's like, didn't we discuss about this already?
No, this is a different song. I think we've talked about a Jennifer Lopez song, but I don't think it's this one. Well, it's not this one. I know
Hmm.
that for sure.
No.
Okay, so now we move on to video games, and let us see what we have this week for notable releases. Alrighty, so we have a few things this week. So let us start off with on the 6th of February. If you had a Game Boy Advance, you could pick up a little game called GT Advance 3 Pro Concept Racing, which some racing game that came out on the GBA that I have never heard of.
Neat. Again, case of I have not heard of this title.
Yes. However, on February 10th, if you were a PC gamer, you could pick up a little game called Command and Conquer Generals.
Uh,
Have you played any of the Command and Conquer games?
no.
That's kind of what I figured. Okay. Um, on February 10th, if you were a PS2 player, you could pick up, you'll probably be more familiar with this than I am, a little game called Dot Hack Infection Part 1. I take it you are familiar with this.
Only vaguely. It's kind of a case of I'm sure you probably know of the dot hack game GU on the PlayStation 2.
I'm
Case
vaguely
of
familiar.
I have most of the copy, and our one friend had it when we first experienced it.
Yeah, you and Justin really like this series, and I never played any of them.
Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of one of those particular niche seasons, but it's been on for a long time. And this was kind of one of the first big video game ones.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I'm just kind of looking into like how much stuff this whole franchise is, and I'm like, that's too much.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Moving along, if you were an Xbox gamer on February 11th, you could pick up a little game called Capcom vs. SNK.
Neat. I know it's a supposed fighting game, but I'm not sure which one.
It's you know what? It's a obviously it's a sequel to Capcom versus SNK. I'm not going to try to explain it, but it's um,
It's taken the popular characters from each of the series and smushing them into a fighting game.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. Yeah, SNK. I'm kind of surprised that this game came out in North America because it's not like their games aren't super well known over here. Because like their big fighting game series is the King of Fighters, which is not like the same level as like a Street Fighter or a Tekken or anything, at least in North America.
At the very least, it probably would have been one of the machines in an arcade, but it would have been fairly sparse. Like, if you didn't have a Street Fighter, you may have had a King of Fighters or some other particular fighting one, but it was around and possibly could have been known.
Maybe a little, but yeah, that's all for major game releases this week. But oh my god, Dave, we've got some biggins next week.
Duly noted.
Anyway, let us get into the episode for this week. So, we start off at the Hyperion Hotel. The Angel Investigations team carefully put Angel's contained soul away in a safe, discussing the great risk they all face dealing with Angelus. Meanwhile, he sits unchained and alone in the basement cage. Wesley cautiously approaches the cage and starts up a discussion with him. Angelus plays games with Wesley, avoiding the important information about the beast in favor of taunting Wesley about his romantic interest in Fred, while the rest of the team watch the conversation from the lobby via video feed. Angelus continues to be difficult, raising issues of Wesley's failure with Faith and Connor. Connor returns to receive strange looks in the aftermath of Angelus's news, but he misinterprets the looks as everyone thinking he's still connected to the beast. Gunn and Fred bring Angelus a glass of blood, and Angelus takes advantage of the opportunity to taunt the couple about the sounds Angel could hear coming from Fred's room at night. Fred pushes the cart towards the cage, and Angelus takes the glass. But he also shoves the cart into Fred and grabs her when she falls towards the cage. Gunn moves in to rescue Fred, and Wesley shoots Angelus with a tranquilizer dart, freeing Fred and knocking Angelus out cold. In Wesley's office, Fred thanks him for saving her, but the conversation takes a turn for the romantic when Wesley kisses Fred. Gunn walks in and gets furious when he realizes what just happened between them. The two men begin to fight until Gunn accidentally hits Fred when she tries to stop them. Angelus is pleased with the discord he has created. Connor approaches Angelus, who tells him that his mother Darla and his adoptive father Holtz were eager to get away from Connor. Connor calmly replies that he knows Angelus is his real father. Angelus thinks that he can take advantage of this and encourages Connor to approach, but Cordelia interrupts and sends Connor away. She then turns off the video camera and makes him an offer. Give them the information to help save the world, and she will exchange herself. Angelus is reluctant to accept. Later, Cordelia informs the team that Angelus is willing to talk, although she refuses to tell him what she did to get him to talk. Wesley goes downstairs and begins to ask questions. Angelus explains that in 1789, the beast tried to bribe Angelus into helping him kill the 3 sphere priestesses who were attempting to banish the beast. Angelus refused to help, and the priestesses appeared and banished the beast. Gunn finds that the women live nearby. Wesley, Cordelia, and Connor find the priestesses and their families have already been murdered by the beast, after seeing a daddy's birthday reminder on the family calendar. Connor runs outside to be sick. Cordelia chases after him and tries to talk to him, but some vampires interrupt the moment, and the team fight them. Connor disposes of one, and Wesley gets the car for them to escape in. They return to the hotel, and since Angelus doesn't have any more information on the beast, it's time to turn him back into Angel. Cordelia goes downstairs, and despite Angelus's Enthusiasm to have Enthusiasm to have her, Cordelia tells him the deal is off, since they didn't get to save the world, and that they are putting his soul back. Angelus doesn't seem too worried about that, as he's confident he'll escape the cage and collect on his debt before getting to see the apocalypse come to life. Cordelia returns to the office and finds a container holding Angel's soul is gone. So,
situation just got a whole lot worse.
Yes. So we have Angelus in the basement, still trapped, but they don't know where his soul has gone.
Yeah, and just who the heck could have even supposedly taken it? Like, how many people supposedly know the combination to a safe, and/or no magical teleportation magic?
These are the important questions. Now, what did you think of this episode, Dave?
On the one hand, it is flipping Angelus, which just, ugh. Oh, the sliminess, and I can't remember who specifically said it, but it's the case of he is amazing at just telling you lies with just those little nuggets of truth in bits and places. It's just, oh.
Yeah, the character is very good at like manipulating people by telling them kind of what they want to hear. Like he'll give you enough of the truth so that you believe it, but he's always like holding something back or not telling you something.
Just so crazy with him. And then just case of learning cases a little bit like, oh man, it is a case that the demon met up with them and it's like, hey, you want to help me take care of these people so I don't get teleported away? He's like, nah. And then the demon beats him up and it gets sent away anyway. So there's options and it's like, yay! But then it's like, ugh.
Yes. Now, for this episode, normally we would go over international titles, but there are a bunch, but they're all basically the same. They're all either like soulless or without soul or something like that. So, no real point in going over that. Now,
nothing interesting, sadly.
Unfortunately, no. Now, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up about this episode there, Mr. David?
I think mostly just the interesting case that it's bringing particular things a little bit more out into the light, and case of people kind of dealing with the situation, causing drama. There's already been a fight that broke out because of some of it. Just a case of how much chaos is this going to supposedly rep, and how bad is it going to go before Angelus supposedly gets into the picture and out of that cage.
They're definitely doing like a very like Hannibal Lecter thing with him right now.
Very true.
Where like he's technically the bad guy, but he's locked up and he can't seemingly do anything. But he's still like terrifying.
Yeah, he is quite a threat.
Yes. Alrighty. So, next week we'll be discussing the episode called Cavalry. Oh, good. We're going to have some backup, right? Right?
Well, that's one option of it. I'm sure there's other particular things to it, so let's see which one they take.
So, quick little synopsis for the upcoming episode. When the gang receives the disturbing news that the Beast is working for a much more powerful entity, they realize that they must restore Angel's soul to revert the evil Angelus back to Angel. So there's a bigger bad coming.
Hooray! So, also, simple concept of, yeah, let's get Angel back. Where's his soul? Oh, God.
Yes, they desperately need to find his soul and find out who stole it.
Yeah, that would be nice to know.
Yeah, it probably would be kind of important. So until next week, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.